Hello and welcome to a special series of Block Talk, which we're calling Blocktalk Explores. These quick listen episodes will be split by topic area, as our guests, who are all industry leaders in Scotland, will be discussing three specific industry topics. Topic number one is education and awareness of the industry and what property factors do. Number two is recruitment within the industry and any challenges that they see. And the third one is customer care. We'll release 2 episodes in week 1, and the third will be released the following week. We hope you enjoy the series, and as always, it would be great to hear your feedback. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blocktalk podcast. We're doing Blocktalk Explores with me, Brian Welsh. In this episode, we're talking to Callum Bruce about recruitment. I know Callum is an industry leader in Scotland, and he was appointed director at MacFie Co in 2022, having joined the firm in May 2018. He previously worked as assistant property manager for approximately 2 years as well. Callum, thanks for coming on. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, yourself?
Yes, I'm very well. Okay, so on to recruitment. Okay, so can you tell us what your experience or MacFie's experience is with recruitment at the moment within the industry?
We've been we're very fortunate. We don't have a huge turnover of staff, which we're very proud of. We are obviously expanding our portfolio, and we have brought in members of staff, but it's been again, we've been very fortunate that we've been able to bring in people who are time served and they had circa 20 years experience in the industry. So we weren't bringing in new property managers. I've been there, I've done that, and had to learn it from Tenant Handbook and work your way up to an idea as best you can and take on as much as you can. But it's something we've worked very hard to make an environment that we've got a staff that are committed and they see a future at the firm. And yeah, we've got we're not a huge firm. We've got a lot of property managers who are now into 12 and 14 and 16 years service now. So I'm one of the newer ones at the firm, but we have got quite a young firm now as well. And there's a bit of a changing of the guard. I think that's happening in a lot of firms as well. Where you've got that sort of more laid back approach to working, laptops and at home and out on the move with technology as well. So we're being able to appeal to people, which is nice. And the feedback seems to be that they enjoy working with us, which is great. So we've not had to delve into the recruitment market too often, right? Which is nice.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, I think the market generally is obviously very difficult at the moment. Finding good people in any industry, I think, is reasonably difficult at the moment. A year ago, trying to find a good software developer was probably pretty impossible, and we've managed to employ, 3 in the last 2 months and 1 open vacancy, which I think we've got a couple of candidates for. So actually, I think it's getting better, which I hope, because at the end of the day, shortage of people is driving up wages and inflation and all of that as well. So yeah, no, it's good that maybe you don't have an issue there.
No, I mean there is, as an industry, you might find that there's sometimes a habit of property managers to jump between firms and move about a wee bit. It's trying to get settled, and obviously that it benefits the client, massively, when they can build a relationship with somebody over not just years, but potentially tens of years, where you almost know the person outside of work almost. They're been on holiday, and that they go and play golf here, and you're building a rapport, and it's all going back to that first section we're talking about, where there's building a relationship that can be trusted, and obviously you can take it forward and hopefully do some good maintenance together, and they trust you to be able to look after the property. So, it's we're trying to move forward like that, and we are, like I say, a younger office now, and it helps with the technologies moving in the right direction. We were, as a firm of 153 years old, I think MacFie is now. It was quite set in its ways, and in the last 5, 6, 7 years, there's been a definite push towards cloud-based, and it's laptops. And COVID was a catalyst for that. Let's be honest, from almost every firm, they had to take a massive jump forward. But I think it appeals to the staff that they have this freedom and ability to go out and do what they feel they can, and show that they can be good managers. So we support that, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I was going to say 153 years. I didn't realize John Walker was that old, but never mind. No, I get, it's that thing as well, because you're finding good people not easy, right? Relationship with client, it's all about relationships, isn't it? Okay, ability as well, but it's all about relationship. Mm-hmm. So if you build the right culture within your business where people want to stay, and they stay for 10, 15 years or whatever and beyond, then that relationship stays intact, and there's continuity, and then therefore losing business is much less prevalent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's, like I say, there's staff that are all multiple staff that have gone over 10 years service. They've known each other a long time. They build a rapport, as you said, with each other, and that means they can bounce off each other. That means they can help with issues, and ultimately, as a firm, it means then that we're hopefully providing a better service because we've got that uniform way forward. Yeah.
Okay. So we had a conversation with Malcolm Perryman from the Property Institute and Zoe Southwell from Block Recruit around podcast that they did, and I think they did it at a conference, and it was all about. And there's also a survey that comes out of the Property Institute every year about how property managers are feeling, and all of these sort of things. And there was some things came out of that, like people wanted to work at home. The top 3 things people were looking for within a role, and all of these sort of things. And did you manage to listen to it? Did you get any comments?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the main points I saw, the working from home. Obviously, we were forced into it at one point through COVID. We still operate what we would call a hybrid workspace, where we do have staff that work from home at times through laptops and phones. They're all connected constantly. We're obviously progressing with the cloud-based thing, so we're completely mobile then. But yeah, I think there's definitely a change in, even in the sort of time I've been involved, there's definitely a change in the feeling around firms, I believe. And obviously I'm speaking primarily from MacFie's point of view, but they talked about the perception of the old guard, really, who were the hierarchy. They were almost feared in their offices with their suits on, and it's Mr. Welsh this and Mr. Bruce that, and that's very much not the case at MacFie anyway. And I think it's moving away from that across the other firms as well, where it's more of an open door policy, a bit more of a collective group solution we're looking for. And it's being able to feed off of each other. I mean, we've got properties where you mentioned John's been a property manager at our firm. He was there doing it 15, 20 years ago, and he'll remember those properties, and he'll be able to help you with context for things as well. So it's having that, in the past, I would imagine there was more a fear of, I can't go and ask him, he's the managing partner. We couldn't do that. It's very much open door now. It's, part of it. You can come and go and have a chat about nonsense, but also work as well. And it's not quite as restrictive as I think it used to be. And I've seen a wee bit of a change just even in my time. But yeah, very much the flexible working environment, both in office and literally outside of office as well. But I agreed with what you said about that. It's definitely moving in that way.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we have conversations about this in our office along. I mean, I'm 53, so I wouldn't consider myself the old guard. Maybe people would, but you know what I mean? I would welcome someone challenging me or asking me any question. And, you know, and people do, you know, I mean, you know, if I say something that someone doesn't agree with in this organization, then you know, they tell me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess that's culture. Whereas, you know, I mean, you're too young to remember this, but you know, culture was not a word that anybody mentioned to me in my 20s. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and never was it a conversation that we had. And in fact, I remember having a boss once where we'd won this bit of business, and it was a really, really good bit of business and quite an exciting thing as well. It's quite, um, I'm not going to call myself sad when working in IT, getting excited about IT, but I was quite excited about this project, yeah. And I went up to my boss at the time. I said, "Oh wow, we've won this bit of business, and that's fabulous. How are we going to do this? Now we're going to do that. And how are we going to do the next thing?" And he threw the file across the table and went, "You do it. You just do it." I'm like, "I just asked you a question. You know what I mean? I just asked you," and it's like that just doesn't exist now. Well, it may exist. I hope it doesn't exist. But you know what I mean? It's that I would. I mean, I don't know if it's a power thing or what it is. As far as I'm concerned, you surround yourself with people who are better than you because that's the only way you're going to get on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, team building and things like that back in the day, I doubt were a thing either. You know, it's, you know, pinstripe suit, shirt and collar, you know, with a tie up, with a briefcase, and it's, you know, it's very much more of a relaxed atmosphere. Certainly our firm, I think it sounds like yours is the same, and it's you know, it's welcome debate and welcome discussion because you know, you're all working towards the same goal. So yeah, it's definitely from their chat. I took that mainly the differences there were very much that the changing of the old guard to the more modern way of doing things, I think.
Okay. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I'd agree with that. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a suit that fits me now, so I'm not planning to go buy another one. So yeah, I'll need to lose weight to get into the ones I have. So yeah, I just don't. I mean, some people, it's for some people, it's not for others. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is a conversation that I quite enjoy getting into. So we talk about the demands of the kind of new generation. You know, the Gen Z or Gen Z or whichever way you want to say it. How have you adjusted how you operate to accommodate kind of, you know, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z? How does that affect? Is that a thing in MacFie's or?
I mean, I think we've covered quite a few of those sort of things we've done already. I mean, we're obviously seeing a difference in the way that it operates day to day, but it's also maybe it was the changing with COVID. I think the whole country sort of changed its way of thinking and to digitize the entire process more or less, which obviously works for the younger generation, but the older guard are maybe not quite happy with that. So we've got to very much think outside the box and make sure that we're still able to provide a postal service effectively to our older clients. But, you know, things like, portals and moving to digital payment platforms and being able to take payments on the move and laptops for the staff, and basically trying to facilitate the needs of the client whenever we can. And it's becoming, well, I know you talked about this to a few others, and it's becoming more difficult sometimes because there's an expectation that comes with that you're on the move, and therefore it's a live service. You're effectively available all the time. You can be caught, you can be WhatsApped, you can have pictures and videos sent to you of an issue, and you're expected to act on that immediately. And it's difficult because obviously contractors are working really hard to try and catch these things. That's the downside, I guess, of the modern moving forward, the modern era. But yeah, it's finding a happy medium, I guess, isn't it? It's finding that sort of happy medium where you have Zoom, Teams available for chats. But I still think, although younger, and I do agree with the modern sort of twist, I think there's still a place for seeing a group of people and being in, at their property, able to touch their property and just say, this is what you need to do. This is what we can bring for you. This is what this project will mean to you, and I think it just conveys a bit more trust in you, being able to see you face to face. This works between the two of us, because obviously we've just got the two of us going back and forward. When you then add 8 owners, a surveyor, and a member of our staff in, it can become a bit chaotic, and I'm not a fan. I quite like to, like I say, be able to gather in a group of people and have a chat. So
yeah, I mean, pre-COVID, how many times if you're in a meeting would you go like this and say, "Can I speak, please?" Yeah, right. You just you bounce off each other. Exactly, I actually find this because when I'm in the office, you can't really see it 'cause it's over that direction. But when I'm in the office and I'm on the phone, I'll walk around quite a lot. Or if I'm actually talking to someone, I'll walk around quite a lot. In fact, I've got a rug in my house that my other half knows I've been pacing up and down because the damn thing's moved 2 feet. I've been pacing up and down. But that's who I am. Do you know what I mean? And I use my hands a lot. I'd rather be standing. And you just can't do that on Teams. You know, you can't do that. Well, you can, but people don't see it.
Yeah, and you'll miss parts. People won't get their chance to say their thing, or the conversation will move on and they'll think, "Okay, I'll just leave it." And it has its place. It definitely does. But there's certain things, for us, new business and any major schemes with grant assistance where it's huge amounts of money and they need huge amount of trust in their factor that the project's going to be run in the correct way. Being able to meet these people, in my opinion, and discuss it with them face to face is definitely the best route. Not always possible. People are busy. People are, all working now, primarily. So it can be convenient, but I think it's sometimes better to look at it from a personal basis, face to face.
I get it.